Religion, magic, and aliens have all been combined, separated, and put in all kinds of different categories. Now, with our lack of intelligence back in the day when Jesus was on the earth and before that, we had no idea what airplanes were. We had no idea what extraterrestrials were. We had no idea about spaceships or any of that stuff. We were barely coming out of the Bronze Age and the wheel. A lot of this stuff was taught to us. King Solomon was a king that was written in the Bible and many other books. He says flat out that he was picked up by aliens and taught many different things. This video we're going to be looking at Goetic magic and the keys of Solomon. We have two books. This is one that we're mainly going to be working off of today. This, on the other hand, is a more detailed version of the keys of Solomon. The illustrated Goetic by Alister Crowley, and Crowley did write both of these, is a lot more in-depth on what the different sigils and stuff are. The keys of Solomon give very good information, and they give historical points of where he got his information from. Now, religion has to do with believing in a god or a deity, be it one or many. Magic comes from people and the ability to manipulate energy. It is also very mind-based. Aliens come from space. Aliens have technologies that humans do not have. They're far more advanced, at least the ones that can travel from planet to planet. So therefore, we really need to heed what they have to say. The U.S. government, Israeli government, and many other governments around the world have already said aliens exist, and they've been here for thousands of years. This is not new news, but this is news that we need to pay attention to, because one of these days the aliens will reveal themselves, and right now they know that the human species cannot handle that shock. They give us books. They give us information. They give us all kinds of things to show that they're there. And we as humans have to be so conceited to think that we're the only ones in the entire universe. I do not understand personally how somebody can think that we're the only ones in this entire universe. That's a rather conceited thing to say. So let's get into this video and see if it matches what's in the books and what kind of information it can give us. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, comment, bell notification. We're going to be getting more into religion, gods, aliens, and magic. This is what we do on this channel. We are the Anarchist Necromancer.
Solomon, a 17th century grimoire rooted in older magical traditions. These 72 sigils each represent a specific demon, serving as their magical signature. Magicians would inscribe the sigils onto parchment or metal, believing they were essential for summoning, binding, and commanding demons to obey. The sigils combine geometric shapes, magical alphabets, and esoteric symbolism, all designed to capture the demon's essence within a visible mark. They're still used as both a summoning beacon and a controlling link. Seal of Solomon. The Seal of Solomon, also called the Ring of Solomon, is a hexagram enclosed in a circle. It was believed to grant King Solomon divine authority over spirits, including angels, jinn, and demons. While the symbol has roots in Jewish mysticism and Islamic legend, medieval grimoires adapted it as a protective emblem and a symbol of authority within ceremonial magic.
Pretty neat when a human gets a sigil designed after them. I'm looking. Book does not start out with the Seal of Solomon.
Magicians wore it as a talisman or inscribed it in summoning circles, using it to assert divine dominance over infernal entities. Grand Grimoire Seals. The Grand Grimoire, also called Le Dragon Rouge, is an 18th century text claiming to reveal the secrets of necromancy and demonic pacts. Some traditions even suggest these secrets originated with Solomon himself, though this is more legend than history.
Problem with this is they say demonic, so therefore Christians and the like will turn around and say that demons are fallen angels, demons are this, demons are that. Demons are beings that have lived or have not lived, that live in the astral plane. They are not aliens, they are not angels. We will be getting into the astral plane in another video. Make sure you check out the channel or hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.
The Grand Grimoire features seals used to summon and bargain with Lucifuge Rofocal, a high-ranking infernal figure said to act as Prime Minister of Hell under Lucifer. Unlike the coercive methods of Solomonic magic, these seals are often linked to pacts and negotiated contracts, marking a shift from divine command to infernal diplomacy. Infernal alphabet symbols. Several medieval grimoires, such as the Liber Officiorum Spirituum and the Sworn Book of Honorius, contain magical alphabets used to encode demon names and spell instructions.
Books that we need to invest in.
These alphabets were believed to possess inherent power, amplifying the effectiveness of rituals when used in summoning circles, talismans, or sigils. Some include Celestial Alphabet, a stylized alphabet said to be derived from angelic writing. Malachim Alphabet, a script often used for writing divine names on talismans.
These are very handy if you want to contact aliens or spirits. They say divine names on talismans. Well, as soon as they say divine, they mean godlike. And aliens will come and they will talk to you if you summon them. There is ways to do that. They have given us that ability. Just, we've forgotten about it.
Transitus 2V, another magical script used for sigil making. Theban Alphabet, also called the Witch's Alphabet. This was sometimes included in magical compendiums, especially after the Renaissance period.
We do have a Witch's Bible. We will be looking at that in another video.
They also served a dual purpose, concealing forbidden knowledge from uninitiated eyes, while strengthening the magician's authority through sacred mystery.
This is how sorcerers and magic users can make spells and write messages, and other people would never be able to figure it out because they never learned the alphabet.
The act of writing in these alphabets was believed to reinforce the magician's link to the hidden forces they sought to control. Triangle of the Art, a core feature of Solomonic magic. The triangle of the art was placed just outside the magician's protective circle. It consists of a triangle inscribed with divine names, usually placed outside the magician's protective circle during summoning rituals. The purpose of the
This is how you would summon an alien.
triangle is to contain and restrict a summoned spirit. Lucifuge Rofocal's seal.
Oh, it did say a summoned spirit and containing it, so that would actually be a non-alien form.
The seal of Lucifuge Rofocal is one of the most infamous infernal symbols, originating in the Grand Grimoire. This seal is primarily associated with demonic pacts, as Lucifuge is the intermediary tasked with negotiating contracts between mortal magicians and Lucifer himself.
A little confused here because I don't see... These are not... Lucifer is an alien. He is not a demon. He's a fallen angel. He should be an alien. Oh, this is where the confusion comes from. We're mixing religion, alien, God, and demons with magic.
The seal symbolizes the bureaucracy of hell, representing both the magician's mark of allegiance and a guarantee of infernal power, typically granted at a steep cost. Unlike Solomonic seals, this is not a tool of coercion, but a symbol of voluntary submission to infernal authority. Abramelin.
That's a dangerous symbol.
Squares. The Book of Abramelin, a 15th century grimoire, introduces a unique magical system built around magical word squares. Grids filled with letters that spell out the names of spirits, angels, or demons. These squares were intended to call, bind, and direct specific spiritual forces to perform tasks, from revealing hidden treasures to spreading illness or imparting forbidden knowledge. However, unlike purely demonic systems, the Abramelin method relies heavily on divine authority. It also relies on the invocation
Another divine authority book
icon of the magician's holy guardian angel, positioning the magician as a mediator between divine and infernal forces. Solomonic pentacles. Found in the Key of Solomon, these are multi-purpose magical emblems designed to summon, constrain, protect from, or command both angelic and demonic spirits. These pentacles often combine Kabbalistic symbols, divine names, planetary influences, and geometric patterns. Each one is tailored for specific purposes, from compelling a demon to appear, to shielding the magician from harm, to invoking beneficial celestial powers. Consecrated through ritual purification, they were considered the magician's primary line of defense and authority in ritual practice. Planetary seals. Planetary seals are powerful symbols derived from astrological magic. They represent the spiritual forces associated with the 7 classical planets: Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and the Moon. These seals were traditionally used to align rituals with planetary influences, enhance magical workings, and create talismans charged with celestial power.
Planetary alignment, time of day are very critical in some incantations and some spells.
While they are commonly found in angelic and divine magic, particularly in the Key of Solomon, they also play a subtle role in demonic magic. Certain demons are linked to planetary forces, although not inherently demonic. Planetary seals highlight the belief that celestial and infernal powers are intertwined, and mastering planetary influence could help command spirits, both angelic and demonic.
There's a lot of different types of magic, and there's a lot of different types of alien. There's a lot of different types of things that people mistakenly mix. Now, there's nothing wrong with mixing this stuff, but it does add to confusion.
Today, we're about to cross a threshold that many prefer to leave untouched. We're going to talk about demons, not as poetic symbols, not as fictional characters, but as real, operative entities described in detail within one of the most feared grimoires in occult history, the Ars Goetia, the first book of the Lemegeton, also known as the Lesser Key of Solomon. For centuries,
Lesser Key.
Occultists, alchemists, and ceremonial magicians have recorded methods for contacting these entities, detailing their powers, their seals, and yes, their invocations. In this report, we will speak about those invocations as well, not as instruction, not as a how-to, but as part of the hidden knowledge that surrounds these beings. Let this be perfectly clear. This content is strictly informational. The invocations mentioned here are not to be used under any circumstances without deep knowledge and preparation.
You should never, ever read an invocation. Don't read it in your head. Don't read it word for word. You only need to think it and it will work. These things need precise enunciation, focus, super concentration. These are not stuff that need to be attempted by anybody that's just starting out. These are things that experienced, lifelong magic users struggle to accomplish. This is not for amateur hours. This is for the super experienced, and even Alister Crowley himself, one of the goats of the super powerful, had massive problems after he summoned these.
Calling upon these entities recklessly can lead to real, serious, and irreversible consequences, psychologically, spiritually, and otherwise. Contact with what lies beyond the veil is not a game, and it should never be treated as such.
Ever. It is life-threatening.
Many speak these names without knowing what they awaken. Others believe they're in control until it's far too late. When one opens the Ars Goetia for the first time, the name that appears at the top is not just a starting point. It's a warning. Bile is not placed first by chance. He is the gatekeeper, the threshold, the initiator into the mysteries of demonic contact. A king who rules over 66 legions of spirits, Baal does not make his presence known through thunder or infernal spectacle. His domain is silence, omission, the power of absence made manifest. Ancient grimoires describe him with 3 heads, one of a crowned man, one of a cat, and one of a toad. These are not arbitrary forms. They symbolize his dominion over 3 essential realms of perception. The crowned man represents conscious authority and the sovereign will. The cat, stealth and heightened awareness in darkness. And the toad, the power to transmute impurity into knowledge. Baal is the embodiment of the occult principle that true power lies in what cannot be seen, traced, or anticipated. He teaches not merely how to vanish, but how to become unseen on every level.
That could be tricky in itself, because if you don't word things right, he'll make you unseen. He'll put you in the ground.
Physically, psychically, spiritually. Because Baal's gift is not just invisibility of the flesh. It is the ability to move through reality without being registered by it, to cross thresholds between planes unnoticed, to whisper into minds without leaving a trace. And it is precisely this subtlety that makes him so dangerous. The magician who truly receives this power risks dissolving the very identity that held them together. To become unseen is to begin forgetting the self. The East is not chosen at random. In ceremonial magic, it is the direction from which all workings begin, the place of dawn, of awakening, of consciousness. To call Baal from the East is to open oneself to initiation, but also to erasure. Rituals involving Baal are precise and demanding. The seal must be drawn flawlessly on virgin parchment or engraved on consecrated metal.
Airtight, precise, you can't mess up. As I said, this is not amateur hour.
And the space filled with the smoke of acacia and myrrh, resins said to assist in astral projection and shielding against psychic interference. Yet even with all precautions, Baal remains a trial, not because he assaults the magician, but because he does not. His method is subtler. He waits, watches, and loosens the bonds between the magician and the world ever so slightly, until sometimes they're no longer sure where they begin and end.
You will cause magic.
Accounts exist of those who, after invoking Baal, began to experience dreams in which they watched themselves from outside their own body.
That's actual projection.
Others reported a creeping sensation of disconnection, of becoming unseen, not just by others, but even by themselves. And some claimed
Insanity.
success, the power to pass unnoticed, to vanish from perception at will. But at what cost? One cannot live outside the world without consequences, and invisibility, once gained, may never fully be reversed. Among the kings listed in the Ars Goetia, none embody the seductive danger of arcane truth quite like Paimon. He is not merely a spirit of wisdom, he is its tyrant, a crowned monarch of knowledge so vast and so alien that it bends the mind of any who dare seek it. When he arrives, it is not in silence. He comes riding on winds, accompanied by invisible choirs and blasts of celestial trumpets that seem to echo from behind the veil of reality. His presence distorts the very...
It really makes me wonder what kind of alien vessel he shows up on, because it sounds like he's an alien and not a spiritual entity.
air. Some feel pressure in the skull. Others hear the sharp, rising tone of something drawing near, a sound not meant for human ears. Described in ancient grimoires as having a noble face and commanding voice, Paimon is a king of 200 legions, with 25 more under the governance of his lieutenants. But his power is not autonomous. He is loyal to Lucifer himself, bound within the infernal hierarchy, and his appearance is not simply a function of ritual. It is an event, one that marks the boundary between knowledge desired and knowledge.
When Lucifer becomes a main being between multiple different religions, theories, theologies, and types of magic, you know he existed, you know he had lots of powers, and you know he was somebody that could actually help people out. He wasn't always evil. He was the light bringer.
Consumes. To call Paimon is to invite a presence older than language, one who speaks not only to you, but sometimes through you. Practitioners have reported spontaneous trances during which he speaks in their voice. Others fall into altered states where symbols flood the mind, many of which have never been seen before, or match ancient alphabets without conscious knowledge. There are reports scattered through obscure occult literature of individuals who invoked Paimon asking for wisdom and found themselves unable to sleep for days, overwhelmed by dreams filled with celestial machinery, burning temples, and coded messages repeating endlessly in tongues they couldn't name.
Be careful what you ask for. It's that simple. You want knowledge, he'll give you knowledge. And it might not be something that your brain can handle. Days. And if they had drawn all that stuff out, it would have been amazing.
His invocation is ceremonial and must be approached with extreme caution. It is not a plea. It is a summoning of attention. The names invoked are not decoration. They are anchors. Without them, Paimon's presence is like staring into the sun, dazzling, beautiful, and ultimately blinding. His domain includes all sciences, music, philosophy, mathematics, the secret mechanisms of creation.
That's the one you want to talk to if you want to come up with new inventions.
He grants knowledge not meant to be known, not because it is forbidden, but because the human mind is not designed to contain it. There are modern accounts, some private, some recorded in
Where do you think Elon Musk got some of his ideas from? There's so many people nowadays that are coming out with crazy inventions. They've got to be talking to aliens.
magical circles of magicians who claimed great success after invoking him. One described receiving entire treatises in dreams, waking to fill pages with complex diagrams and equations. Another reported gaining fluency in a dead language they had never studied. But for every tale of knowledge gained, there are warnings of what it cost.
There is always a risk.
One 19th century French occultist described a phenomenon he called the inverted choir, a persistent auditory hallucination of choral voices singing backwards after his third invocation of Paimon. It grew so intense that he abandoned the practice entirely.
They will drive you insane, literally. You do not bother them too often. You invoke them 3 times, hell, is at least 2 times too many.
Among the demonic monarchs of the Goetic, few walk as deeply embedded in human weakness as Asmodeus. He is not subtle like Baal, nor regal like Paimon. He is invasive, intimate. He does not knock at the door of the soul. He slips through the cracks, through desire, through need. In the Ars Goetia, he is listed as a king who commands 72 legions, but in reality, his empire is far older and far more present than many dare to admit. Because Asmodeus doesn't come from the stars, he rises from within. Described in grimoires as a hybrid beast, with the face of a man, the body of a serpent, dragon wings, and 3 crowned heads.
Doesn't come from the sky, it comes from within. So that would be a demon or a spirit. That would not be an alien or a god.
Asmodeus is a force of chaos, braided into temptation. His influence is not theatrical. It is slow, seductive, corrosive. He governs what men desire and what they hide. His name has been linked through centuries to lust, yes, but also to addiction, obsession, shame, and ruinous love. He reveals the secrets of the flesh, not just in others, but in yourself.
That could be dangerous in itself.
To summon Asmodeus is to willingly look into a mirror that shows too much. His powers are extensive. He reveals hidden treasures beneath the earth, teaches advanced mathematical knowledge, and manipulates the minds of others through desire. But these gifts are never given freely. Every boon comes wrapped in appetite. He may grant insight into complex systems, financial opportunities, or mental domination, but always while eroding your inner restraint. His methods are not blunt. They're ritualized seduction, a dismantling
There is always a cost for anything you ask.
of the will by making it want more. Some lose partners, others their sanity, not because Asmodeus punishes them, but because he opens a door. And what walks through it is you, stripped of masks, starving and willing. He is a king of mirrors, of urges, of knowledge soaked in scent and skin. To summon him is not to request power, it is to play with the raw circuitry of your being. He will grant what you ask, but he will also ask what you're hiding. And if you don't know, he'll show you.
Do we really know what's behind the doors inside our mind? Are we willing to accept what's behind those doors in our mind? Some people do not like their inner self. Some people accept it. It's very person specific. All of these are for different people, different uses, different opportunities.
Belial is different. He does not command with fire or seduce with beauty. He offers sovereignty, influence, elevation without chains. And it is precisely that promise which makes him one of the most dangerous spirits in the Ars Goetia. He is called a king, yes, but Belial is more accurately described as the king with no master, a primordial force who, according to some grimoires, existed even before the fall. He is not just a demon of power. He is the embodiment of self-sovereignty, the refusal of imposed order, the voice that says, "You owe nothing to heaven or hell, only to yourself."
That's one of the little guys on your shoulder, also known as your conscience.
He commands 80 legions, yet answers to no one. His sigil does not radiate chaos. It exudes authority, like a royal edict etched in flame. Those who summon him do so not to be taught, but to be backed. To rise in politics, in business, in influence. Belial opens doors. He introduces. He arranges alliances and calls in debts that others owe in hidden realms.
Hidden realm. See, there's many realms. There's not just the physical and spiritual realm, the astral plane, ethereal plane. There's so many realms of existence. If we were to dig into it, we would still have more to find because we wouldn't be able to find them all on our own.
He demands a cost few understand at the moment of pact. He will not bind you in chains, but he will unbind you from everything else. From guilt, from duty, from humility. That's his power. He makes you free.
Removes your conscience.
So free that you forget what held you upright to begin with. He wants commitment, and the oath must include something real. Not necessarily blood, but sacrifice of time, identity, devotion, or allegiance. One 18th century ritualist wrote of his pact with Belial as the most empowering mistake of my life. He gained wealth, social power, and unshakable charisma. But within years, he had isolated every friend, alienated every bond, and spoke only of the fire inside that refused to let him rest.
He got everything he wanted, and then it was all removed from him. This is why you do not make deals with spirits. They don't tell you things, and they will mess your life up, because they know stuff you don't know, and when you sign that contract, they've got you.
Not all spirits of the Ars Goetia offer destruction. Some offer healing, but not the kind that is easy or clean. Among the 72, Bua stands apart as a paradox, a demon of medicine, philosophy, and moral instruction, who operates not from light, but from the shadows of understanding. He is called a president, commanding 50 legions, and his domain is both ancient and uncomfortably modern. Because Bua doesn't just cure wounds, he cures what caused them. Depicted in grimoires as a bizarre figure with 5 legs radiating from a central body, moving in a wheel-like motion, Bua appears at the intersection between symbol and biology. His form is unsettling for a reason. He is not here to comfort. He is here to illuminate the invisible systems behind sickness, pain, and confusion. Those who seek him do not beg for miracles. They seek understanding.
This is the one that you would find cures for diseases with.
And with it, the tools to transform suffering into knowledge. Some who invoke Bua repeatedly report becoming emotionally numb, hyper-rational, detached, unable to empathize. They see the systems, but lose
Those are common amongst most of these that they're listing.
sight of the people within them. That is the other side of Bua's medicine, the temptation to treat life as a puzzle rather than a mystery. He is a healer, a teacher, a philosopher of wounds, and to summon him is not to escape your pain, but to name it, study it, and extract the sacred lesson it was hiding all along. He will not lie to you, but you must be ready for what the truth feels like before it starts to heal.
The truth is the truth is the truth. It doesn't matter what your feelings are about what the truth is. It's not going to change what it is. How you feel is irrelevant and not part of the conversation. The consequences of summoning or talking to any of these people can be dire. There can be benefits to it, but in the long run, it's going to be a really bad mistake because their cost to help you is a lot higher than the benefits that you will get from requesting help. I really appreciate you watching the video all the way through. We will be getting into a lot more different things in the future. Hit that subscribe button, bell notification, and don't forget to comment.